Hello, welcome to the first Women's Health Live with Powerplay Australia and Powerplay New Zealand. And what a way to start Women's Health Week. I actually didn't realise when I set this date, but I was stoked when I saw it. The purpose of this, 5 minutes every Monday is really to answer your questions. So I'd love it to be client-led. So ask me your sticky questions. I'm not afraid of the word vagina if something funny is happening down there. But also just common stuff, the reasons and rationale that it's happening to you may be different as a woman to a man. For instance, knee injuries, men and women have them equally, but often for very different reasons. So let's start by, if you have a question or something that's been bothering you with your training, be sure to type it in the comments or send us a message on Messenger, and we'll try to answer it for you in the next couple of weeks. Since this is the first one, I thought I should introduce myself. My name's Claire, obviously. I was a sailor in the Australian sailing team. I was strong and fit and ferocious and invincible, and I finished that journey with 3 hernias, a prolapse, stress incontinence, and bulging discs in my back, so bad that I couldn't walk for 2 weeks after one inflammation episode. And what I learned through this journey, so that was back 2004, it's now 2021. What I've learned is women are quite different to men. We're all human. There's nothing wrong with us, but we're different, right? We have different hormones, we have different bodies, even our elbows are shaped differently so that they don't hit our hips when we walk, like a man's elbows would hit into our hips. So these little things matter, and it matters that we understand them. And for you in your training, we want you to get better results easier, or no results with no effort either. Like, I don't mean results in the traditional sense where you get skinny. I mean results in that you're feeling amazing, you're not getting injured, your energy is high, that sort of thing. I got into Powerplay around 2005 while I was still an athlete because I could use it for so many things. So my sport was sailing, which is unstable, right? So to be able to train my reflexes was quite exciting. I had chronic back pain, which I could help it recover faster by massaging it with a power plate, and I could also down train my nervous system, which meant when I was tense and on hyper alert, and which you do get, athletes are intense, right? I could bring it down a level and I could get rid of the pain and I could continue to function. And the third thing I liked about Powerplay and why I used it so much was I could strength train on there in positions and movements that were specific to my sport, which is kind of important. Like, as an athlete, any extra edge you get is huge, right? Like we've just seen in the Olympic Games, swimmers and runners, they're winning by a micromillimeter of a second, and I do understand their different time measurements. So what this means for you in women's health space, in this women's health chat we're going to have every week, is we're going to use the power plate to train specific as women, right? So the technology can be used in a phenomenal number of ways, but as women we have very specific needs that we can really tap into in a really short amount of time using this technology. So I thought we'd start with the menstrual cycle because every woman has one, where not every woman has back pain, for example. So what we're going to do, we're going to spend a week on each part. I'm going to break it down into 4 parts, even though it's technically, 3 or 6, depending on who you ask. And we're going to start with the menstrual phase, so the ickiest, stickiest part of it. But there is beauty and amazingness in the menstrual phase. So that's when you're bleeding, right? For some women, they feel like terrible. They feel awful in this phase. In this phase, your hormones are at their lowest, which means other women feel amazing. So for some women, it's like a release from that, you know, the chains of hormones, and others it's like heavy, painful, icky, sticky. And I feel like most women sort of sit in that latter camp. But if you are one of those ones that feels amazing the day of your first bleed, then move all my advice over the next 4 weeks back a week. So the advice I give you today for the menstrual phase, for you who feels amazing in the menstrual phase, will move this back a week to your pre-menstrual phase. And I'll also just want to make a note that not every woman has a 28-day cycle, only 15% of us do. So just divide whatever your average cycle is, because there's, again, like there's fluctuations, 3 to 4 days for some women as well. Each phase might be 4 days, might be 10 days, or it might be the perfect 7-day phase, okay? So the menstrual phase, most women feel awful. So your superpower in the menstrual phase is recovery, right? The strongest clients I've ever had are the ones that recover enough to do the training. They're the ones that had a week off every school holidays of training, of doing anything. So in the menstrual phase of your cycle, you're going to relax. I'm going to show you how my favorite way of relaxing is anyway.
So the feet elevated position, what that does is it improves the blood flow back to your heart. So it's basically a big circulation boost with your calves out at your extremities. The stimulation kind of, it both numbs your nervous system and boosts your lymphatic and your circulatory system. And you have lymph nodes on the back of your knee that love this as well. So a big opportunity to excrete waste, and hormonally, this position is massive for stress management. So it helps balance out that unrelenting stress hormone and really replaces it with hormones that make you feel good, like your serotonins and your endorphins.
If you're a woman in the menstrual phase that gets low back pain, you might repeat this massage with your lower back rested against the plate, and you just want to sink into that vibration. Now, when I'm not talking and you do this on your own, I want you to sink into that vibration and really focus on the sound of it, and even hum along to it. It really does help induce a state of mindfulness and meditation, which I can put a link in the comments, but it's probably as important as doing your cardio training and your strength training. So, tip number 1 before I leave you, in your menstrual phase, if you feel terrible in your menstrual phase, in the pre-menstrual, if you feel amazing, our superpower is to relax, recover, consolidate all the work we've done fitness-wise in the past 3 weeks. So I need your questions for the next installment, and also for coming topics. We're going to spend September talking about menstrual cycle, but we're going to go further than that. We're going to go menopause. We're going to go, strength training for motherhood, pelvic floor. So put your questions down, and I will answer them as best I can. Bye.